Welcome back to Bruce's Saturday morning special. This is the fourth in the series of the adapter for the geometrical head. As you saw before, we machined it out, the bores out to the to final dimensions. They just need to tickle up with a flap disc. I've now brought it over to the mill and I've set it up with my slotter, and the way we've gone about that is we set the, let's get my scale. We set, first of all, on the opposite side, there, the 180 degrees from here, I've drilled it a hole slightly larger than the cutting tip, and the idea is that when the cutter comes down, it matches with the hole, and then the swarf gets knocked out. Otherwise, if it's going down against the dead end, it'll make the clutch operate. It'll make a lot of noise, and it can break the tip or do other damage. So it needs to be up to daylight. If it isn't a bush that can go all the way through, we need to give that hole to relieve the pressure. Now what I did is, with a square, I marked up on both sides of the hole, and I lined up the cutter in those markings. Now it's not very thick wall here. I'm not interested in getting, I'm not looking for a full depth cut here. All I'm looking for is something that I'll make up a special key for it, and it'll only just, I'll offer that key in just a couple of millimetres, less than 1/8 of an inch, just so that if anything goes with the head, it's not going to turn on the barrel and create problems for me on the barrel. So that's the reason for this keyway. So we're going to go about cutting it now. So once I lined it up, the next thing to do was to set the settings for the stroke. That's at the top of the stroke, and if I wind that down, and the way I go about doing that is normally I will see what the stroke is. I'll measure to a fixed point here, and then I'll add to that the stroke, and then once that goes down to that stroke that I want, then I'll be happy that that's the stroke required. But in this case, you can easily just bring it forward, not touching, and work it to so it daylights at the hole. So there we go. We'll close the lid, turn her on, and cut this keyway. Now I've locked the X, and I'm working on the Y by hand. And really this is the same as if you were working on a shaper. The same geometry of the cutting tip. Funnily enough, I haven't used the slotter in a year, and within 2 days I've had 2 jobs for it. Once I've finished this one, I'll reverse it. The shaper, of course, is much better because it's far more robust. This is a get out of jail for somebody who doesn't have a shaper. I had one, but I gave it over to make room for other things. Jumped on that one and change the geometry a little bit. As I say, I only want this really to give it an interference hole. And this is hollow bar, so it's a lot more harder to cut. You see the movement there? Needs a resharpening. And I'm effectively getting what I want anyway. Blood edge there, I think. Taking the edge off that cutter. Now it's ever so slight, but that will be enough. Yeah, the cutter's not happy at all. It's run away. That box should be right up. So we'll leave it at that. Okay, so we'll have enough of that. We've now got to set it up and drill and tap both those mating surfaces. Now, one of the things I come across when I was machining this was, as if you recall back in the first ones, I'd machined the outside first to get rid of all the wobbly, and then I started boring it. Now, halfway through the boring of the first hole, it took up a wobble, and the reason it took up the wobble was, if you recall, it had a big wobble at the beginning, and I suspected that this bar had probably been dropped, and that was why. So what's happened is that dropping, or whatever trauma that it went through, has put great stresses into it, and so I was machining it, and it was getting up a bit of a wobble here. So I thought, well, I'll machine it out rough, close to the diameter here and close to the diameter there, and then we'll have another look at it. And so towards the end of the machining of the bores, I then had to retrim here a bit, and that was evident, the stresses caused in this, and with hollow bar. It must be remembered they're under great stresses, and also bar. And if you're taking 50, 60, 70% of the weight away from the original material, you will find deviations in size. And so that must be remembered, that you do the roughing down to plus minus, I'd say, 1 millimetre or 1.5 millimetres outside inside, and make sure it's cool, of course. And then review it and do your final cuts.